Well, hello everyone. My name is Christal Segura, and I work for the Conservation Collier Program, which is part of Collier County government. And my main job is to manage conservation lands for our program. I'm also the co-chair of the Southwest Florida CISMA, alongside Aaron Myers of the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service. And today, I'm here to talk about the CISMA. If you're not familiar with what a CISMA is, it's a Cooperative Invasive Species Management Area, and it's a network of public and private land managers and nonprofit agencies working together to address the growing threat of invasive, non-native plants and animals across Southwest Florida. There are actually 17 different CISMAs statewide, and the Southwest Florida CISMA boundaries encompass 4 counties, and they are Collier, Lee, Charlotte, and Hendry County. Many of you, I understand, are from north of here, and that CISMA is called the Suncoast CISMA, and that boundary encompasses Sarasota County, Hillsborough County, Manatee County, and Pinellas. So we're basically doing the same thing in just different regions of the state. We have a steering committee that's made up of about 10 to 12 different active members. We meet about 3 to 4 times a year. We have an invasive animal subcommittee that's led by Ian Bartasek of the Conservancy of Southwest Florida. We also have an invasive plant subcommittee, which is led up by Dexter Sowell of the Florida Forest Service. We do have an annual meeting once a year, and we have about 217 people on our email distribution list. If you would like to be a part of the distribution list, you can just leave your email address on the back table by my display. So one of our main goals of the CISMA is outreach and education. We want to reach as many people in our area to educate them about why invasive animals and plants are bad and degrading to our South Florida environment. And one of the ways that we do this is we attend outreach events across our region. And over the last 2 years, we have attended about 10 to 12 events per year. And some of these include the Florida Panther Festival. We have exotic pet amnesty days. We attend the festival in the woods at Pickey and Strand. We attend the Burrowing Owl Festival in Cape Coral. We've attended the huge Florida Sportsmen's Expos. We've attended the Earth Day events at the Conservancy of Southwest Florida, Ding Darling Days on Sanibel. We also hold non-native fish roundups, and we will be attending the Charlotte Harbor Nature Festival. So basically, when we attend these events, we'll set up tables, we'll hand out information, we have games for kids. Sometimes we bring live snakes just to kind of draw people in and to educate people on why invasive snakes are bad and how you can compare exotic snakes to native snakes. And we just talk to people about plants and animals and what they can do to help our cause. Another type of event that I mentioned earlier are pet amnesty days. And these are FWC-sponsored events which give pet owners an opportunity to surrender their exotic pets free of charge and without penalty. Animals can be adopted on site by pre-approved adopters. And we do have volunteer veterinarians that are there to evaluate the animals and to microchip them. Our first event was held in Lee County, and it was a huge success. We had 18 different animals surrendered, including iguanas, bearded dragons, large snakes, chinchillas, and even an African gray parrot. Our second event was held in Collier County, and we had 4 boa constrictors, 2 large ball pythons, and 3 large Burmese pythons, a red-eared slider chinchilla, and a rabbit actually surrendered at that event. And all of these animals were taken home by pre-approved adopters and responsible pet owners the same day. And these events actually help us promote awareness of invasive animals, and it educates the public on why it's so important to not let your pets loose in the Florida environment. Another thing that we do is we hold work days where we'll all get together and go to a site and treat invasive plants on these sites. So we've done work days on private properties, public lands, and we like to do work days on private properties that are adjacent to conservation areas. And we've also done one on a spoil island near Sanibel, which is part of the Ding Darling refuge. So those are always fun. They're a lot of work, but they're a lot of fun. And we also sometimes get the press out, and we like to educate the neighbors of these preserves on why exotic plants need to be treated and taken care of. Every year we host an annual exotics workshop that's held at Florida Gulf Coast University. We have about 200 registrants, and we have a diverse agenda with several speakers. The event is similar to the one we're having today. We have plant ID breakout sessions, and we offer CEUs. And usually we have a Python capture training associated with this event. It's usually the day before or the day after the event. And our next event is going to be held on January 22nd, 2015. So mark your calendars if you'd like to attend. And if you're interested in speaking at this event or volunteering or sponsoring it, just let us know. Our invasive animal team holds python surveys in Collier County once a year. It's usually in January, February when we start to get the cold weather and fronts coming in on a regular basis. And Ian Bartasek of the Southwest Florida, I always mix them up, the Conservancy of Southwest Florida, is working with Dr. Paul Andriadis, and they're doing research, and they're doing a collaborative radio telemetry python study in our area. And they're also capturing, tagging, and removing adults and juveniles and hatchlings that they find. So another important message that we try to convey is it's very important for everyone in our region to identify and report invasive animals that they might come across. There are several different ways to do this. There's a hotline that's very easy to remember, 1-888-I've-GOT-ONE. And if it's not 1-800, just think of the coiled up snakes being the 888. You can also report these online at I'veGotOne.org, or there's actually a smartphone app where you can take it out in the field with you and actually record your sightings of invasive plants or animals right there on site. And all of this information goes directly to EddMaps, which is an early detection and distribution mapping system that is run by the University of Georgia. So by reporting sightings of invasive animals and plants, we can better assess the extent of the infestations and hopefully eradicate new invasives before they become huge problems like Melaleuca already is and like Burmese pythons already are in the Everglades. And one thing that in this area of the state is really important is to watch for tegu lizards, black and white Argentine tegu lizards. And I have a brochure about them on the back table. They are already established in the Tampa Bay area, and they're already established in the Homestead area. So we're in between. So if you do ever see one of these tegu lizards, please report it so that we can send a responder out to respond and so that we get an idea of where their distribution is. So this is a map that I took off EddMaps, and this is just the reports of pythons that were called in or reported on the website. And you can see that most of the calls were down in Everglades National Park, and on that coast. However, there are some calls. I mean, obviously Naples has a high number, but even up in this area, we are starting to get reports of pythons. Some of them could be pets that are getting loose, but these are just things that we need to be aware of. And as a CISMA, we are developing a rapid response team, and we have a lot of responders down in Collier and Lee County. However, we are in great need of responders in Charlotte and Hendry County. So if you are interested in responding to any of these calls, you can let me know or contact us in another way. Our information is on the back table. But we just need people to go and verify these sightings, make sure that if people say it's a python, that it's not a rattlesnake. And if you're comfortable, then we could use your help with capturing the animals. This year, our CISMA doesn't have a lot of money. We don't have a lot of funding. We all kind of work together and share our resources. But this year, we received 3 grants. And we received the first one from the FLEPC, Florida Exotic Pest Plant Council. And it was a CISMA grant for outreach and workshop funding. We also received another grant from the Partners for Fish and Wildlife Service for invasive animal outreach efforts. We hope to put a billboard up on 41 and 951 and send out information in the mail to these hot zones. And we also received some funding from the Rivers, Roots, and Ruts events that is held at the Caloosahatchee Regional Park every year. Apparently part of their proceeds go towards an environmental agency, and our CISMA applied and were awarded the grant money. So we're very excited about that. We're going to be using the funding for workdays to treat invasive exotics along the Caloosahatchee River Basin. Future endeavors. We're hoping to create a Friends of the Southwest Florida 501c3 group. However, we need funding to apply. So we're working on that right now, and we're in the process of that. We are also hosting a grant or a non-native grass ID workshop at the end of the month, September 29th and 30th. And we opened up our registration, and the class filled up within 24 hours. So we had a huge response to this class, and we have over 30 people on the waiting list. So just recently, Stephen Brown of Lee County Extension contacted me, and I believe he's going to be hosting a class and will be contacting the waiting list on our behalf. So we are now planning to make this grass ID workshop an annual event based on the response that we received. And our CISMA needs. Again, we really need more active members from Charlotte and Hendry counties. And if you're interested in having an outreach table at an event, we have the supplies, and we can get them to you, and you can be there to represent our CISMA. We always need extra hands for work days. So if you get on our email distribution list or like us on Facebook, we'll advertise our work days. So we can always use some extra hands, some people to come and help us treat exotics. And our annual workshop is going to begin, our planning for the annual workshop is going to be beginning soon. We're going to have several meetings to get speakers for the event and sponsors and organize the entire event. So if you're interested in helping with that, we would love it. And we encourage all of you again to sign up to be on our email distribution list. You can pick up a brochure at the back table. It tells you a little bit more about our CISMA and has our contact information on it. And again, like us on Facebook, and we're even on Twitter. I've never really used Twitter, but we're on Twitter, and people do follow us. So that's exciting. Okay, so does anyone have any questions?
About a decade or so ago, the different CISMAs would do an annual report on different invasive removal activities and compile it annually, and I haven't been able to find it since then? Is this something that's ongoing, or that stopped for a while and is going to be restarting, or is just applied to your Florida Invasive website? How is that handled these days?
Well, all of the CISMAs are basically run through the Florida Invasive Species Partnership. So if you go to that website or contact Christina Serbisoff-King of the Nature Conservancy, I'm sure she would be more than willing to help you with that. Okay, thank you very much.